Point of clarification. November 20, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. When you see something that doesn't make sense in an otherwise orthodox pattern, you know that, well, it does make sense. You just aren't seeing something about the pattern break, and you have to stop and look, maybe let it simmer a few days, come back, stare at it some more. The truth doesn't always arrive with a thunderclap. Most of the time, it comes as a nagging whisper, something that didn't add up, something that briefly caught your notice and then rolled on by. If you have the alertness and tenacity to hold onto those bits and pieces of things that don't fit, instead of throwing them aside and ignoring them, you will learn that these things are keys that open many doors. For example, it was very strange that Joe Biden didn't really run for president. Even with the excuse of COVID-19 playing out, it made no sense. But, yes, it does make sense if you know that the office you are running for is going away, and that it will be gone a couple days after the election. It also makes sense if you know the election will be rigged in your favor. Given those two factoids, Joe Biden's behavior and lack of a campaign effort makes perfect sense. Obviously, he knew that there would be no President of the United States as of November 5. Just 2 days after the election, the United States, Inc. was slated to disappear in a permanent involuntary bankruptcy and, naturally, that would take the office of President of the United States with it. Heck, why bother yourself to win an office that you could only occupy for a couple of days, and even then, it would be in the status of President-elect, with no hope of ever being sworn in? And why worry about it, if all your pals assured you that you were just acting as a placeholder and the election was rigged to make sure you got elected? After all, didn't Joe Biden brag that he had the biggest voter fraud operation in history backing him? You see, what didn't make sense, makes sense. Perfect sense. So what happens next? Unknown to almost all Americans, there was another office on the table, the territorial United States presidency, President of the United States of America, and that carries with it the position of Commander-in-Chief. Even though Joe Biden was a municipal candidate for a different corporate office in a different and about-to-be-defunct corporation, if elected as President of the United States, he could hope to finesse a claim to have won President of the United States of America, too. Imagine being elected as President of the Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elk Lodge, and finding a way to turn that into being President of the Moose Lodge, too. That is what happened in 1937 with the Declaration of Interdependence of the Governments in the United States. The municipal government run by the Pope and the boys at the Vatican cut a deal with the King and the government of Westminster, who were working as the Pope's Commonwealth overseers anyway, to collude and share offices, hand in glove. Whoever won, President of the United States, would also win, President of the United States of America. It was just another little elk moose deal among our employees that the general public didn't have to know about. So now.
Links to Anna's articles and resources can be found in the video description box. Thank you for subscribing, liking and sharing.